to building towards this moment. They're really pleased with our football team, all the work that they did throughout the summer program. Coach Storms and his staff, Marissa, nutrition. I mean, it's just been remarkable to see our guys continue to grow, not only physically, but in every way. And we've had a great summer. Excited about the position we're in. As we enter fall camp, going to be a lot of competition. We've scheduled our fall camp to truly maximize each moment. Trying to maximize repetition with a lot of young players, some new faces. There's going to be it's going to be a great experience for all of us involved to see the growth that's taken place, and that's one of the things that I think. Is a great indicator to the mindset and the identity of your football team, is to see that growth from when we finished up in April to where we are taking the field tomorrow, and as we progress through the next 25 practices and those opportunities. But really pleased with the work from the guys. I can tell you that we're a much more confident football team coming in to fall camp. I think confidence is built off the work that you're willing to invest, and this team has invested up to this point, but it's going to be a daily challenge. It's going to be a daily push to truly establish that identity that we want to have as we move forward into the 21 football season, and I'm excited about this group and where we're heading.
Coach, I think you guys started the same time last season, but your opener was a week later. Can you kind of maybe walk us through your setup for the schedule this season, why you started what you're starting?
Yeah, it's last year was a little bit of adjusted when we could have some of the walkthroughs and things like that. This is a more traditional set. We have 25 practices in 29 days, so we have our mandated days off. So we've structured the things that have changed within college football is a number of helmet practices. I think we have 7 helmet practices that we are mandated to have. So that's we kind of spread those out strategically and how we want to utilize those. The nine full pad practices. It's going to be something that we're excited to be able to get into, and we're evaluating all those things. And so we had to kind of restructure a little bit as a coaching staff, but all in all, it's pretty similar to what I've done throughout the years. But there were some adjustments due to new rules and kind of regulations to how we're going to have to take the field and the equipment and apparel that we're going to wear.
You mentioned on the opening statement confidence and seeing that kind of build and materialize over the offseason. I guess, how do you see that progressing? Like, how do you weigh or measure confidence from what you're watching through growth here?
I think it's a daily approach. I've never been a part of a team that didn't, when asked, say that they were confident. Everybody in college football believes that they're confident. True confidence comes from what's been invested and how they approach every day. When you know that you're going to go into a summer workout and it is going to challenge you for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, and you do it with the smile on your face and the right mindset, and you're willing to go and give everything that you have because that you know that you can, or that you've done it before. That's where that true confidence shows up. And so it's really the way that they're coming into the building. It's the mindset that they have, and and even in those moments throughout the summer where it truly jumped on them, and just the way they were responding. And so. We're a young football team. We're a team that has to continue to come together with some of the newcomers that have joined the program and just build that confidence through the relationships. And I think these guys have invested a lot when it comes to that off the field, away from this facility. And I'm excited to see that play out.
Platinum anniversary at RSFL.
Is that platinum? Appreciate it. Thanks. Have you guys decided what you're going to do? There was talk about maybe taking the camp to another location. Are you going to be able to do that? And if so, what do you accomplish with that?
Yeah, can't really get into specifics on that right now, but I do see value in that. Something I've done throughout my coaching career. I think when you can change the location, change the scenery, we have an opportunity to truly come together. And fall camp, it's a great time. It's all focus on football, team, the team building opportunities that we have, but getting to know each other And, even you look from last year to this year and some of the new faces, it's going to be great for our coaching staff, for our players, for those guys just to be able to, kind of eliminate all distractions. And, sometimes just being at home and being in the normal routine to be able to shake it up a little bit. Because we're going to have to be great on the road this year. We're going to be going into environments and situations that there's some things that we can control and can't control. So at the end of the day, it's just as many of those experiences that we can have throughout fall camp. That's going to help build that confidence, which we talked about earlier. And I think that provides a great opportunity, and it'll be a special experience for our guys.
Hey, Mike, in your opening statement, you talked about wanting to see growth. What are some specific areas of growth that you want or need to see this fall?
Well, just the consistency and how we utilize the fundamentals and techniques. It was something that was big throughout spring ball that I saw. I did see the positive steps. Whenever you finish the 15th practice of spring ball, they're still outlining the necessary steps that we've got to see from our team at each position, with each individual, from the exit meetings that we get to have as coaches, and to see that application. There's a lot of work that goes on outside of the 8 hours that we were able to have these guys through the summer program, but to see that consistency show up, on the field, in the job, the understanding of their responsibility throughout each concept, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, and guys just playing together, going out every day, being the best version of them, and then truly having a purpose behind every rep that we take. I want to be a relentless football team, and the only way you're going to be a relentless football team is, you got to practice relentless, you got to meet relentless, everything you have to do has to have that purpose, because that's going to form that identity. And I think our guys have done a good job with that through the workouts in the summer. But fall camp is going to be critical, and our guys, that's going to be a big area that we have to continue to improve.
Go to Corey over here on the left.
Mike, at Memphis, your staff will be poached occasionally after each year. With this staff, how beneficial is it to have so much continuity from one season to the next? I'm sure it's a nice pleasure for you that you haven't probably had that much in your career.
It's the first time as a head coach that I've had all 10 assistants back in consecutive years, and it's something that helps me, just with what to expect. These guys, they have great understanding of the philosophical beliefs of the why, and then we're still continuing to push each other to get better. And but the communication aspect of it, just the overall understanding of the flow of how we're going to operate, and it's really it's been good, because we have a much better sense of who our team is now coming into fall camp than what we did a year ago. And we've been able to really fine tune some of the things that we're going to ask them to do, whether it's in the practice, whether it's in the walkthroughs that we're going to have. We got a very specific plan and format of what we're hopeful to see, and everybody kind of goes into it knowing what to expect, and really can I think accelerate that process for our players just because of the continuity of the staff.
Go to Michael in the left corner.
Coach, obviously everything, a lot is focused on the fall camp, but going into this season, you guys have done extremely well as far as spring and summer and recruiting. Talk about your excitement level of recruiting going into the season, because it seems like a lot of kids, every kids I talk to, it's like relationships. That's all they talk about, and they want to see what your product's going to be on the field. Talk about just going into the season with recruiting and how it is right now.
Well, that's what it's all about. First day I got the job here, I talked about those relationships, and probably no different than what any coach would have said. But like I told the high school coaches, each prospect, it's our job to show them. And everybody's going to talk about a priority of where we're going to recruit, what we're going to recruit, how we're going to recruit. But at the end of the day, it's about that consistent action. And it was a tremendous joy to be able to get kids here on campus. We went 15 straight months without that opportunity, and and we had a very specific plan of what we wanted to do. And the first year with that signing class, we want to get the best football players that could come in and help impact our program, and that we're going to have some versatility and guys that we had a familiarity with moving forward. We spent a lot of time focused on the 22, the 23, those classes of really getting to know those kids early and building a relationship with the coaches, being able to connect in all ways that we're allowed to. And I think we're seeing that payoff. And when kids go from the virtual experience to getting here on campus, being around our staff, face to face, being able to feel the energy, talking to our players, watching the way that our players, the way that they work, and how they really kind of mesh and gel together. It's not just about selling a vision. It's about them coming to see how that process is being put into place. And I think that's why a lot of guys are excited to be a part of it. And I'm really pleased with where we are at this time.
Hey, Mike, where are you guys at health-wise going into camp? And specifically, is there any kind of an update you can give us on Emmett Rice and his status?
I feel good about where we are health-wise. I think Coach Storms and his crew have done a great job, in helping our guys. Whether there's some guys that entered the summer, in rehab, with where they were on coming off injuries from the summer. There's some guys that will be a little bit limited here at the start, but all in all, as a team, I feel really good about where we are from a health perspective. I'll tell you, Emmett's done a really nice job throughout his process. We are expecting Emmett to be a part of this team here and being able to impact us here this fall. We'll see where that goes. I mean, it's it was a little bit of a longer rehabilitation process, but he is ahead of schedule. He's sitting in a great spot. He's been a part of workouts throughout the summer, but we're going to see and make sure that he's fully ready to go before we get him out there. But I like where he's at.
At quarterback, you got the two guys you took to kick off and two more who got some valuable experience last year. I was wondering, I guess, where things stand there entering, and I guess how reps are going to be distributed coming into fall camp.
Well, we're going to be unique in how we're practicing. You'll hear these first few days, and then you also making sure that those guys do get an opportunity to show their growth, and everything's going to be evaluated. It's I've been a part of many quarterback competitions, and I feel very confident in that we're gonna find the right guy or guys that can help impact our football team to put us in the best position to win games. And so that's going to be something that throughout fall camp we're gonna mix that up. We're gonna give every quarterback's gonna have an opportunity to get reps with the first group and show what they're able to do. And as their performance shows, I mean those opportunities are going to continue to expand for them as they earn them.
Now that Coach Shannon's been here for a few months, what kind of an impact has he had on the program, just having a former head coach and longtime defensive coordinator in the program?
Yeah, he just brings us such a great perspective. And, for our coaches, my relationship with them, I mean, we got who I believed we were getting. And I'd always heard great things about Coach Shannon and, in any of our, previous, conversations or those mutual relationships. And, we got the right guy, and he has been incredible for our staff. The working relationship with him and Coach Fuller and the rest of the defensive staff, as well as just program wide and helping build those relationships throughout the state. It's just definitely glad to have him, and excited about what he'll be able to do within our staff here this upcoming season.
Hey, Coach, when you wanted to deliver a message this summer through the players, which players did you identify to do that for you?
It's one of the things that we did this after spring, and it's actually the first time I've done this in our in my coaching career. Is we have a team council, and it's something that was voted on by the players. I think that to be able to provide them with a voice, to be able to have a group that we met. We met separately throughout the course of the summer. I think it was 6-7 times that those guys came together, and we were able to get more in depth of defining the why we do things. So we were able to talk about different thoughts and perspectives from the players on experiences they're having, areas that we're seeing growth, areas that we need to see more growth. And I thought that was really special. And I'm excited about how that's going to continue to develop through fall camp as we get into summer. But it's all about being one team together, players, coaches, everybody involved. And so that player council was something that we relied on. And you see guys really taking ownership of this team. We want to be coach inspired. We want to be player led. All right, it's our job to inspire guys to push themselves to the limit of what they can do on the field, off the field, in the classroom. It's our team's job, those players' job, to make sure that they're helping lead that with the proper actions. And it's taking a lot of ownership for those guys, and I think we're seeing a nice return on that.
Hey, Mike, wanted to get your thoughts on the offensive line, how they're developing, what Coach Atkins has done with that group, and how, in addition, like a Dylan Gibbons brings some seniority and just experience to a group that still is relatively young across the board.
Yeah, I mean, that's a group I'm really excited about. And, I think in our first year, we were able to see some growth. And, we had a lot of young faces that were, some of them were forced into action probably a little quicker than, what you would probably, desire. But, through that experience, they were able to build some confidence in what to expect. And they're also able to get a real perspective of what they need to get better at, to put themselves in the best position to improve and to play the level that we want to play this year. So, I'm excited about that group. Return all of our, I think it's dang near 100% of our productivity in the offensive line, and being able to add, Dylan, and then a couple of newcomers that have joined that I think are going to provide some immediate help, and also giving guys an opportunity to grow and develop. You look at Maurice Smith. I think has had an exceptional summer. A guy like Bavion Johnson, who's been here for a long time. That is really. He has totally embraced the things that we're asking him to do. And you look at his, from his body weight to his overall understanding of the offense. The want to coming back for a 6th year. Those guys that, they might not get highlighted as much in conversation, but really excited about what they're doing. Dante Lucas is a guy that has a lot of experience, but we've really challenged to take his game to the next level. And, I think you take that youth, and coupled with some of the the older guys, like Devontae, like a Dylan Gibbons that have seen it, that have played, it's really assisting those guys, that are a little bit younger in their college career.
Hi, Coach. I just wanted to ask you just about the benefits you're expecting from hiring Kenyatta Watson, and also the benefits you've seen in recruiting so far. Having Ryan Bartow as well. Just in that push in recruiting. Yeah,
I think it's been great, and being able to get quality personnel. Kenyatta, what he brings to the program, I believe it's a great dynamic for us. Being our director of player relations, he's a former college student athlete that played at a very high level, has had an opportunity to experience the National Football League, but also spent his lifetime being able to impact a community, be able to impact youth. As a former high school coach that did wonders for the youth that he was able to be around, and just such a. He comes with such an incredible reputation, especially within the Georgia area. But he's done wonders in a very short period of time. Just being a part of this staff, guys like Ryan Bartow and our support staff. It's about hiring good people. It's about building those relationships. If that's what we're going to be about, then being able to make to have guys here that are going to be able to make that impact and connecting the pieces and connecting us even further in different communities, and I think it's paid off really well.
We got to see 3 different guys swing the sledgehammer, I guess, based on social media: Steven Dix Jr., Fabian, and Devontae Love-Taylor. I guess, what have you seen from those 3 individually, and what kind of feedback have you gotten from them throughout the offseason?
Just incredible investment. Devontae, he's one of those guys we talked about that was a little bit limited just through rehabilitation, but was consistent every single day, making a positive impact. Whether it's his rehab, the growth that we're seeing there, his availability, and but just the leader that he is, and was really pleased to see him selected as a guy to swing the hammer and kind of be able to do that. And Fabian Lovett, I'm expecting such big things out of him this year, and he is truly taken that next step in his game. I thought he had a really good spring practice. You look at his body and what he's done through the summer. His buy-in is at an all-time high. I think he can be a great contributor for us there up front, and then Steven Dix, a young guy that. You see what he's done with his body and kind of the investment that he's made. I think he's gained close to 30 pounds since he's been here. There's not really any fat on his body. He is a well put together young man. But just the confidence in that as a player. He's one of those guys. He started majority of the season at Mike linebacker as a true freshman. It's not always a fun experience, to have to go through. But I think he's really taking the next steps in his investment of what he's doing in the meeting rooms. Being able to carry that over the field. It's going to be fun watching him continue to develop here this fall camp, and the player that he's going to continue to emerge to be.
You talked at kickoff about kind of getting closer to that 85% vaccinated threshold every day. I wonder if you could provide any kind of update about where you're at, because obviously it seems the protocols, vaccinated versus unvaccinated, are going to be pretty staggering this year.
Yeah, and we're continuing to get closer to those thresholds, and our guys, they understand what's ahead of us, and the protocols and things that will be in place that we're going to have in place. But I'll say that we're definitely getting closer each and every day.
Hey, Mike. Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC isn't going to affect you guys on the field this season, obviously, but I'm curious about the recruiting impact. You guys recruit in Texas in the Southeast. How do you expect that to make an impact, if at all?
For us, it's all about Florida State, and we've got one of the strongest brands in all of college football. We get to be here in Tallahassee, which is an extraordinary city community, and just the whole experience of what it is to be a collegiate student athlete here at FSU. So. It's a new day in college athletics. There's a lot of movement. There's always going to be different things that you have to adapt and adjust with. But for us, when it comes to recruiting, this is a special place, and that really doesn't hold a whole lot of weight with what we're working to do.
Hey, Coach, just hate to keep bringing up vaccinations, COVID, that kind of thing, but have you given the team any guidelines about what they can and cannot do? Are you trying to keep them in a bubble more this year? I mean, Doak's going to be at full capacity, which is exciting, but there's always that kind of looming threat that the season could be taken away again.
We're gonna have all of our team protocols and things that we do within the building. There's part of being a collegiate student athlete. There's sacrifices that you always have to make, and whether you're going through things that we're experiencing as a world in COVID, or just in normal day to day. So our guys understand the expectation. We're gonna continue to do all the things that we can do to protect this football team and the individuals that are a part of it. But we're excited about what's ahead.
Tate and Chuba put out a humorous video yesterday. I know that Tate's that kind of an athlete. I don't think most people did. When did you realize? Did you guys know? How early did you realize that he was that kind of athlete?
I mean, I've known that pretty much since we recruited him. I mean, he is, he's probably, one of the players that gets that people don't understand, just the athleticism and the type of movements of what he has. I get to watch him work out every day, and I mean, I think he's got a huge ceiling in what he can do, and just his understanding that him and Chuba. The thing people miss out on is they both had to start games for us last year as true freshmen with really no foundation to go into a season to have to do that, and so there were some really bright moments, and there were some moments that they had to learn from, and it wasn't always fun for them, but they've been able to take those experiences and just the way that they respond to it, who they are. We got a really impressive quarterback room, and I'm excited to see those guys continue to grow and compete together. But they definitely pretty good athletes too.
Coach, I know you're always excited when you get first-year kids on campus, but is there a different level of urgency or curiosity you have when communicating with your strength staff when it's transfers that are your first-year guys on campus?
Yeah, it's important for us, and it was a priority for us to get as many of those guys in January as we could. And I thought we did a really nice job of being able to do that. And so that helped with some of the transition and for us to get a better understanding of who these guys were. Now, we did add some guys here in the in the summer that we are fully expecting to help our football team at a high level. And you got to be smart, especially guys that just got here, of where they are with throughout their summer training, because they haven't been here, the way that we practice, the way that we push. So we're gonna be able to maybe modify some things as we bring them along, but I can tell you that the guys make a very impactful, perspective to who they are in a very short period of time. I can tell you after the first day, Josh Storms texted me about Marcus Cushioning, and he was really, really excited. And just to see his movements, to see his strength, we've got the right guys, and we've been very selective in who we brought in, not only as the players they are, but the type of young men that these guys are, and just bringing them along and allowing them to gel with this team and to be able to play to the best of their ability.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go to Chris on the front row.
On the defensive side of the ball, how much do you look back at last year and try to learn from it, and how much of it do you just kind of throw away and move on with a lot of new personnel and a much more normal offseason to prepare that group?
And we evaluated a lot of that throughout the year. I think you saw different moves. I mean, we played so many different people, especially in the defensive backfield last year. I think it was 11 defensive backs played over 100 snaps. That's not a recipe for success. It is that was something that we had, whether it was injuries or different circumstances. So going into the spring, we had a much better understanding of who we had, guys that we're about to bring into the program, and how we could best position them for what we're going to see and what we want our identity to be here at Florida State. So. You always evaluate. You always go back. It doesn't matter what the circumstance was. You're going to get quality information from the experiences that you have. But I'm really looking forward to this year. I'm looking forward to how those guys that had to play early, how they're going to continue to grow and develop. Some of the guys that we brought in that are newcomers, the versatility they bring to our defense, and some of the personnel packages that we're going to be able to employ this year. And it's going to be fun to watch them go out there and compete.
Mike, obviously you had a lot of great newcomers come in from this either 2021 or just transfers, but I guess talk about the excitement level, what you've seen so far out of these guys, these newcomers, particularly the 2021 class, high school kids.
Yeah, and I know I talked about it a little bit in the spring, those guys that were able to get in January, and we absolutely hit. And you always have a perspective of what you believe they are, but when they get here and you get to work with them every day, guys like Kevin Knowles, Josh Farmer, Jackson West, I could go through really all of them that were here there in the spring, and to know, I mean, McLean and Burrell, I mean, those guys stood out as well as Estes. It was fun to see them and how they transition. But then when you get into the summer and you see guys like Shaheem Brown, wow. I mean, that guy is his movements, his length, but it's also why we relied on his former high school coach was Brian Allen, a former Seminole player. And when he tells me, he goes, "Coach, this guy would have played with us on one of those teams," I tend to take a stronger look at him, and we absolutely got the right guy. And Amarian Cooper has done some really impressive things here in a short period of time, just for his summer workout. Excited just to see how those guys get out there and compete. Jordan Eubanks is, he's going to be playing the linebacker position, a guy that came from Texas that, a lot of people didn't know a whole lot about. But, I've got really good relationships being from there, and that guy has really been impressive to our current players, to our staff. I mean, just his body, his movements. I mean, we got guys that I fully believe are going to come in here and be able to impact this season. And it went back to finding the best football players that we could possibly get. And I think we really hit on those guys up to this point coming into fall camp.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you, guys.